Good morning, dear student. In our grammar, our 22nd lesson name is simple future tense here. We know that tense means time here, and all the tense show the particular time, and we are doing our work related to the time here. So, what is the use of the simple future tense here? So, we see the definition is given here. We can say that the tense that tell us that action is expected to take place in the future is called simple future tense. It means the work that will happen in the future, the work that we are going to do in a nearer future, for that we use the simple future tense here. So the work will happen in a next time here, the work that will happen in a next time here. So for showing this, we use here simple future tense here. So the tense that tell us that the action is expected to take place in the future is called simple future tense here. For that we have to use here the helping verb shall and will here. So we can say that I shall go Canada here. So by seeing here shall go, we can say that the sentence is in a simple future tense here. We have to use shall with the I subject here. I and we is there in our subject, then we have to use shall here. So second example is here, we shall play chess here. So here in a nearer future I am going to play here the chess here. For that we use the simple future tense here. You will take my car here. In a future times, in a nearer future you can take my car here. And he will come in the party. He will come in the party here. Then she will make pizza. So she is going to make the pizza in a future. So for showing here the future, we use the simple future tense. For that we have to take the support of helping verb shall and will here. With the I and we are there in a subject, then we have to use shall as a helping verb and main verbs we have to use. With the you, they, he, she, it or plural noun or singular noun is there, then we have to use will as a subject here. Then positive sentence. So what is the formula in a positive sentence? So we see here, if I, we are there in a subject, so with I and we subject, we have to use shall here. Then main verb, then object, then other word, and then full stop we have to do here. So whatever the changing occurred, we have to change in a verb here. But here in a simple future tense, we have to take the support of shall and will here as a helping verb and main forms of the verb here. Then subject you, they, he, she, it are there. So we have to use will as a helping verb, then object, then other word, and last we have to keep the full stop here. Let me see here the example is given here. So first example, with the I subject, we have to use here shall, then main forms of the verb visit, then read for as a object here, and last we have to keep the full stop. Joy is a singular noun. With joy, we have to use helping verb will, then join is a verb, his new job here. So Jay is going to join his new job here. Then he will speak English here. So if the subject is he, so we have to use will as a helping verb, then main forms of the verb speak and object English here. And last we have to keep the full stop here. The train will come soon. The train is going to come here in nearer future here. So train is the one singular noun is there, singular subject is there. So we have to use will come here as a helping verb and main forms of the verb to show the simple future tense here. Again here we is in a subject, so with I and we subject we have to use solve, then verb solve, the sums is a object here, and last we have to keep the full stop here. Then Monica is singular noun, then with the singular subject we have to use will as a helping verb, then main verb, that is sing a song here, object, and last we have to keep the full stop here. So in short we can say that with the I and we subject we have to use solve as a helping verb, then main forms of the verb, then object, then other words, and full stop is there. Then subject is you, they, he, she, it, plural noun or singular noun is there, then we have to use will and main forms of the verb to make the sentence in a simple future tense here. Then for the negative sentence we can say that if subject is I or we, then we have to use solve, then we have to keep the not, then main forms of the verb, then object, then other word, and full stop here. Same as here, if subject is you, they, he, she, it are there, then we have to use will not to make the negative sentence, then verb, then object, then other words, and last we have to keep the full stop here. Let me see here the example that I shall not speak a lie here. So with the I subject we have to use solve, then not, then main forms of the verb here. Then with the we have to use solve, not, celebrate annual function here. So we shall not celebrate annual function here. Then with he subject we have to use will not buy a car. He will not buy a car as a sentence for the simple future tense here. Then in a fourth sentence is given here, Kena will not go Canada here. So with the Kena singular subject we have to use will not, then main forms of the verb go, then Canada is a object here. With the they subject we have to use will not, then fight is the main forms of the verb, with each others are the other words, and last we have to keep the full stop here. So that is very simple. We can say that for making the negative sentence we have to use not after solve and will helping verb for the simple future tense here. With solve and will we have to write not as a help, as a for making the negative sentence here. Then we can say that for the interrogative sentence that formula is given here. So we have to keep here solve, we have to keep the first with the I and we are there. If I or we are there, so we have to keep solve first, then subject, then verb, then object, then other words, and last we have to keep the question mark here. Then will is there, so with the subject you, they, he, she, it, we have to use will as a helping verb here. Then verb, object, other word, then we have to keep the question mark here for making the interrogative sentence here. Now we see the example is given here. So with the I is there, so we have to keep solve first. So shall I use your mobile? Someone is asked here, shall I use your mobile? Shall we play magic here? Shall we play magic here? So with we have to use solve, we have to keep the first, and last we have to keep the question mark. Will you read a novel? Question mark. Will you? With the you subject we have to keep the will first here. Will they make a project? Question mark. Will they? So with the they subject we have to keep will first, then will Neha drive a car? Question mark. So with will we have to keep first with Neha, then will children, children is a plural subject is there, so we have to keep will first, then come is a verb to the school, here the question mark here. So we can say that for making the interrogative sentence we have to keep solve and will first here. We have to keep solve and will first, then subject, then verb, then object, then other word, and last we have to keep the question mark here. Then one note is given here, and that is now shall is used only to make an offer or suggestion here. For the interrogative sentence here, generally we can say that with now recent new English we can say that with the I and we subject, I and we subject is there, so we can use will here. We can use will, but here shall must be used here when it is we offer someone here. We want to offer something to someone and for the suggestion here. For the suggestion here. So, shall we play here? Shall we read here? Shall we solve the sums here? So, for the suggestion here, we want to take suggestion of someone and we want to take the offer. We want to give offer to someone. So, on that times we have to use shall. It is compulsory here. So, we can learn here that the work that will happen in the nearer future, to show these things we use the simple future tense here. For that we have to use shall and will as a helping verb and main forms of the verb here. So, with the I and we subject is there, so we have to use shall and main forms of the verb, and you, they, he, she, it, plural noun or singular noun is there. On that times we have to use the will and main forms of the verb, then object, then other words, and last we have to keep the full stop. For making the negative sentence, we have to keep not after shall and will here. For making the interrogative sentence, we have to keep shall and will first, or last we have to keep the question mark to make the sentence interrogative here. So, to show the nearer future, the work will happen in a nearer future, we use the simple future tense here. Okay, thank you.